Hello everyone. It's Stray Faye here with another episode of Variable Barricade. Alright, let's switch to the true board. So in the last episode, we did the first chapter of the true board, and pretty much it was like stuff that we already knew from like other routes. We learned Taiga was the spy. Learned about our grandfather not being a hateful vulture. He actually loves us. He just doesn't know how to communicate that. And it's like all stuff that we already learned from like other routes, or like could infer from other routes. So I'm thinking like maybe just because it's the true board, they're just gonna lay like everything out on the table, like chapter by chapter. Just to have like Hibari know everything as like kind of like the canon ending. I'm guessing. Alright, so let's do these branching chapters here. Behind the scenes, chatting with Tsumugi about the truth grandfather told me, she reveals who the likely mastermind is. Alright, play this event. The day after I heard the news at the main house, I invited Tsumugi and Arrimura to have a girl talk session to clear my confused head. Girl talk. Honestly, it was too serious for me to worry about on my own, so I wanted someone to listen to me. So that's what grandfather told me. I explained to them in detail what I had heard yesterday. I told them about the suitors and the branch families. And Taiga's theory about grandfather actually caring for me is just a theory. But yeah, I guess more importantly, we learned about Kazuya Shinzaki, like being the actual suitor that the branch families like put forth. Grandfather is more of a problem than the suitors are, to be honest. Taiga says it's true, but I just can't believe it. The two of them listened to me in silence, instead of like regaling her woes with the guys, just like regaling her woes about her grandfather. But when I finished my story, Arrimura was the one who reacted unexpectedly. Really? Sounds believable to me. What? He's not doing this just to torment us for fun? What? I don't know much about your relationship with your grandfather, but from what I've heard, I'm guessing it's true. Guess. Arrimura spat out her words, with a much more resentful expression than her usual apathetic look. Arrimura? What in the world do you mean? Taiga's right. Tsumugi declared this, interrupting my attempts to pursue the matter further. I wonder if Arrimura might have, like, problems with her family. It's certainly confusing, but from my point of view, it was apparent. I recalled what I discussed with Tsumugi over lunch before going to Kamakura. And she definitely told me that grandfather must love me very much. But, like, I never felt that way before. Not even once. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It must be something like, oh, Gat Moe is like, he's actually really loving, but like his exterior is all stern. He's like said some things, so they're like, I don't know. You can't really misunderstand it. They're just like literally just mean. I felt embarrassed about how much I denied it. Tsumugi just shook her head at me slowly. It's not impossible. But there's someone who's been encouraging this. Someone who's been cultivating this misunderstanding rather than correct it. What? You mean... Kasuga? Wait, why is his name being brought up? To my surprise, Tsumugi nodded quietly but firmly. That in itself was completely unbelievable. Hang on. Taiga did say something like briefly at the end of the last chapter about like Kasuga. Like, are we gonna get like a little bit more of info about Kasuga? What? What are you saying? That can't be. I guess he's like our go-to for, like, for everything. Like, between, like, the main house and everything. And he does, like, restrict information that Hibari gets to see. I mean, Kasuga's the only one who's been fighting alongside me and protecting me this whole time from that old coot. Which means he's in the best position to control you, right? Maybe. But saying he controls me is absolutely ridiculous. So she's completely oblivious. Welp, guess there are no surprises there. Arrimura sighed, and then she and Tsumugi suddenly looked at each other. Arrimura, this might be a good opportunity, you know. Fine by me. It'll make things easier that way. What on earth are they talking about? It was the same as when I heard what Taiga had to say yesterday. My body began to shake a little. I felt like an unforeseen, almost false reality was suddenly descending upon me. I was in a daze. Arrimura and Tsumugi turned to me with serious expressions painted on their faces. Hibari, as your best friend, I have to be honest with you. You have too much faith in Kasuga. This sudden pivot, like, okay. I mean, I guess she does, like, rely on him for everything. Although, like, it seems like in the other routes, he pulled back, like, to give the center stage to the guys. Hibari, Kasuga has feelings for you that go beyond what's appropriate. To give you some proof, not long after I became your friend, he gave me a warning. Quite a stern one. Oh, that's right. And then, like, after we became friends with Arrimura, he, like, ran an extensive background check. A warning? You're kidding. What did he say? It was right after you and I became friends. Excuse me. You are Miss Kano, correct? I've done some research and I see that you recently have been getting to know the lady of my household. Research? How does one research inside the girls' school? As the heir to the Tojo family, there's no shortage of people with ulterior motives who try to get close to her, which causes quite the hassle for me as well. I wonder if Kasuga's been, like, driving away all the other girls too. Our little Leander right here. No one can be friends with Hibari. Please understand that if you try anything funny, you'll make an enemy of the Tojo family. Why are you making threats? It's like Hibari can pick her friends, like, right? She's technically the next head. A wave of emotions rushed over me. No way. Ridiculous. Unbelievable. Kasuga had been really happy for me when I first told him that I made a friend. I couldn't believe that he did that to Tsumugi behind my back. I didn't want to believe it. However, I didn't simply back down even though he said that. Tsumugi has much more of a headstrong personality. I told him logically that my goal was not to ingratiate myself with the Tojo family, and that you needed a friend. And then I gave him a warning of my own. I told Kasuga that I would expose his attempt to rob you of a friend, Hibari, and my persuasion was a success. Oh, I guess, yeah. That would be some ammo. It's like, hey, Hibari, you know your butler's been going around, like, chasing, like, any potential friends, and that's why you're so lonely? Well, it wasn't until after I visited the estate and he saw that your grandfather liked me that he actually stopped bothering me. In other words, he approved of her because he deemed Tsumugi to be beneficial to me? Even though I didn't want to believe it, I hated that I could understand Kasuga's thought process since he always put me first. to poor Hibari's detriment? Huh? Don't make that face. I have a good relationship with Kasuga now. We formed an alliance of sorts. We're called the Hibari Protection Alliance. Kasuga and I share the same affection for you after all. Arrimura shook her head at Tsumugi as she giggled. I can't be bothered to deal with all that nonsense. I did what I needed to handle it. You mean, he went after you too, Arrimura? Yeah, well, you know. He approached me on the street a few days after I exchanged whiz messages with you. This is probably why she, like, kept giving her weird looks at school. And, like, trying to ignore her. It's like, not only does she want, like, a simple school life, she also wants a simple school life without Kasuga involved. He wasn't as blatant as he was with Tsumugi, but he basically said that if I was a bad influence on you, he'd make me disappear. Well, Tsumugi had warned me that he'd probably turn up, so it wasn't that bad. Is he like a hitman or something? How is he gonna make him disappear? Like, that'd be very hard to do. Like, how powerful is the Tojo family that the butler can just disappear, like, other girls of, like, other rich families that, like, have power as well? Why didn't either of you tell me? We were of two minds about it, but we knew that Kasuga was a very important part of your life. Plus, his actions were for your own good, if a tad overprotective, I mean. If you went through those lengths, I thought that was proof enough. I couldn't disagree when she put it like that. Actually, if it hadn't been for recent events, I probably wouldn't have believed it, even if it came from Tsumugi. But compared to what you and Taiga talked about, there's definitely something off. This is going way beyond simply being overprotective. You mean about like, our relationship with grandfather? I mean, grandfather's not really putting his best face forward, to be honest, but okay. Right. Looking back on his actions up to and including this most recent event, it almost seems like as if he wants you to be isolated, Hibari. No, let me rephrase. It's as if he's trying to force the phrase, "I'm your only ally," to be true. The problem is, what is the reason for him to go that far? Do you think your butler has a thing for you? I don't know, maybe? Does he? He seemed okay with his, like, getting married to some other guy. This sudden subject shift made me shake my head quickly. No, it's definitely not that. I don't think it's that either. If that was what he was after, then they would have fallen in love with each other a long time ago. Yeah, like, why play the long game just to see her get married to someone else? Okay, so he doesn't feel that way. Then that's actually more problematic. Yes, it's the most troublesome kind of pattern. He's into NTR. I don't know. The two of them proceeded to talk about one thing. One thing after another, but I couldn't think about that. Is Kasuga trying to control me? But why would he? He had been my ally ever since he became my personal butler when I was 9 years old. I didn't want to doubt him. But similarly, I didn't want to doubt Tsumugi and Arrimura either. Because even though I hadn't known them as long, they were my best friends. Who the heck am I supposed to believe? What should I believe? I looked up at the clock and was startled by the time. It's time for Kasuga to come pick me up. My breath came out like a strangled gasp as I turned to the girls. Are gonna be scared of Kasuga now. How should I act when I see him? Hibari. How about we go to my place? I'll contact Kasuga for you, okay? Sleepover. We're having a sleepover. Can we see Tsumugi's place? I think that's a good idea too. If you go home in the state you're in now, he'll suspect something right away. Then you'll really be screwed. The serious expression on Arrimura's face took my breath away. Got it. I looked down and saw my hands were shaking and trembling. Not just grandfather, but even Kasuga. What in the world is going on? Why is this happening? Oh no, she's not gonna trust like anyone in the house. Okay. That's weird. They're kind of like pivoting their attention onto Kasuga. I guess we don't really know much about Kasuga. Like, yeah, like, he was introduced in the common route, but then, like, the focus shifted onto the guys after that. And it is kind of weird that he's, like, not a love interest, because he does have, like, really strong feelings, like, towards Hibari. Alright, the Wiz message. You alive? It's like a text like my mom would send or something. And like if I forget to like respond. You doing okay? Not too overwhelmed, I hope. I'm thinking I might have been too blunt with you earlier. It's okay though. It was kind of a shock. What did Kasuga say to you? You wanna know? What that like should make her disappear? Yes, please. Okay. I think some of it was because you wanted to be friends. He didn't exactly say we couldn't be. But apparently he looked up all my friends and partners. All of them? You have a lot. You gotta pivot to a new guy. As if you're like picking out new clothes. Threatened to expose it all if I did anything to steer you wrong. I'm so sorry. God, jeez, blackmail. Holy blackmail, Batman. Don't worry about it. Would it really... I do wonder though, would it really like affect Noah too hard? She's like nouveau rich. So, I don't know, like she's like in a relationship, like they don't really care about pedigree as much because it's like their family line doesn't like go that far back. Their dynasty, so to speak. I'm not defenseless, you know. I can take apart his information network whenever I want. Wow, that's so cool. Ugh, what are you saying? Anyway, I'm fine. Forget me and start worrying about yourself. Thanks. Let me know if you need anything. See ya. Okay, well, we're still alive. Alright, back to the board. Okay, that was a shorter chapter, so... let's go do this chapter as well. The apple of his eye. Takemune insists on a choice for a suitor. Hearing this, Kasuga makes a quiet decision. Oh. Okay. Again with Kasuga. Now I'm getting suspicious. I was like, is this a Kasuga route? They didn't really like explicitly say. Alright, let's play this event. I guess what else would it be? Like, we said no to all the other guys. It's not gonna be a Kazuya route. I don't want to. What? Now, if you will pardon me, I have homework I must finish for the night. Okay, this is like a little bit after our meeting. I'm guessing this is from Grandpa's perspective. Hibari, wait! Or maybe it's Kasuga's perspective. The butler just standing to the side. She barely managed to keep herself together, and that was all she seemed to care about for now. Hibari ran out of the reception room, leaving me behind. I don't blame her. Everything that Master said was true. Even I knew that. However, it must have been very difficult for Hibari to come to terms with. However, it would have been a problem if she had accepted it so easily. Please excuse me as well, sir. The master glared at me with a resentful look as I stood up from my seat. So what are you going to do, Kasuga? The fastest way to keep the branch families in check is to choose a tentative fiancé. I shall abide by Miss Hibari's decision. Just what have you got in mind? Whatever do you mean? Don't play innocent with me. If you're willing to follow my instructions, then you should be able to talk my little girl into it easily. Sure, I could have done that. But what I could do and what I wanted to do were two different things. I smiled courteously, then spoke. You give me too much credit, Master. I am merely Miss Hibari's butler, nothing more. You little... What the hell are you babbling about? I beg your pardon, but these are absolutely my true feelings. As long as she wants me as her personal butler, my stance will not change. Grrr. Now, if you'll excuse me, Miss Hibari is waiting. I will contact you later, sir. I was not so asinine that I didn't understand what the master was concerned about. He seemed to be growing impatient at his inability to comprehend my intentions, but I can't waste time telling him. Hibari was talking to Mr. Tsurugi in the courtyard after running away from the master. Mr. Tsurugi, might I ask what brings you to the mansion today? Just running a few errands is all. That's when I tripped over Princess here. Is that so? Would you care to return with us to the vacation home? Nah, I'm fine. Haven't finished what I came here to do yet, after all. I see. Well then, Miss Hibari. Right. As I urged Hibari to the main gate, I thought about the situation. I knew that he was a member of the master's staff, but I did not expect him to run. I did not expect him to run into Hibari here. And for that matter, Hibari's reaction was strange. Did he succeed in deceiving her? Or perhaps... I then nonchalantly asked Hibari a question. So, what did you and Mr. Tsurugi talk about? What? An obvious overreaction. Girl, you be any clearer here? That you know something you shouldn't... After observing her nervousness, I spoke calmly. I will not force you. Just let me know when you feel like talking. Okay. Come now, into the car. I opened the door and she jumped in as if she were making an escape. Hibari was silent and seemed troubled over something. I stole glances at her while thinking things over. She always lets me know whenever something happened before. But now, she doesn't hesitate to hide things from me. This is a problem. Uh-oh. Your little girl's growing up. You know, can't be like a little kid just like sharing everything. When you grow up, you become your own person and demand privacy. He was also growing up. Naturally, I was prepared for the limitations of treating her as I did when she was a child, but... I guess it's all going according to the old man's plan after all. I cannot ignore this displeasing reality. In a way, I knew this would happen. It all started that day. This is out of the question. It's not even worth discussing. I read through all 4 of their background checks and immediately tossed them away. Which part are you talking about? The arranged marriage with Shinzaki, or the prospective grooms? The latter, of course. Wait, you're not fine with the 4 guys, but you're fine with Kazuya? It was still early summer at the time. The master had summoned me suddenly and told me to come to the estate by myself. I cautiously visited the estate and was told the news. The arranged marriage with Shinzaki that was being pushed by the branch families, and the suitors the master selected to circumvent the match. And also about living together with them. Maybe he has a problem with, like, the living together part. I am against her engagement to Shinzaki. So, this will do. The Shinzaki heir was the perfect partner for the head of the Tojo family. However, he was not a desirable match for Hibari. Okay, so he and grandfather are, like, of one mind here. And the fact that Master prepared the other groom candidates to avoid this arranged marriage was... Well, I suppose this is unavoidable. The only problem is... I have a general idea of what your aim is, sir. However, these men are ill-suited for her. Is that so? I believe I have rounded up the perfect partners. Preposterous. Listen here, Kasuga. Sooner or later, Hibari will choose a husband and get married. And no matter how much you cherish her, you will never be able to marry Hibari. You understand that, right? Wait, why not? You need not tell me. I had intended to look for a groom for her myself when the time came. Oh, we're just gonna... You were going to arrange the marriage instead. Gonna find a nice man. But it still wouldn't be out of love, though. It just would have been like an artificial match. Allow me to say this. Surely there must be someone more suitable for Miss Hibari than them. At the time, I had absolute confidence in my opinion. I was so confident that I believed I could even persuade the master. However, I misjudged. The master wasn't only targeting Hibari. And I realized that a little too late. Kasuga. This was a miscalculation on my part, but I believe it is also a good opportunity. A good opportunity? You know it too. Her experiences are too limited. I provide her with what she needs. She doesn't need to consider anything else yet. If she doesn't broaden her horizons now, it'll definitely cause problems later. You're right, you know. How absurd. That's what she has me for. Kasuga, can you get a little scary here? Your inner thoughts. On that note, all the candidates that I've selected have something that she doesn't. So whoever she ends up with, it'll work out. I had plenty of counter-arguments ready, but the master's eyes were firm and filled with determination. I'm just keeping you informed. This is a done deal. A done deal. I detested nothing more than these words. There's no way a mere butler could resist if this was the master's decision. I choked down all my thoughts and kept quiet. Be that as it may, I'm sure you're anxious about suddenly bringing strangers into our life. I'll give you 1 month of summer vacation. During that time, the 4 of them can live together first, and we'll see what they're like. And we'll make sure that those excessively strong-willed boys can live together under one roof. So, like, it could have fell apart before Hibari even knew. They could have just had like a bunch of infighting. You know? It's not like I'll be able to kick them out, even if we're assessing how they behave. But if I can get a good grasp of their personalities ahead of time, then I can lay the groundwork behind the scenes. I guess I'll have to compromise here. That thinking definitely proved to be careless. The master knew that well, but on the surface, he appeared nonchalant about lobbing a bomb into my lap. And by the way, Kasuga, did you still need something? The good opportunity I mentioned earlier, it applies to you too. To me. It's time for you to start thinking about what you're going to do with yourself instead of doing that forever. I felt chill to the core when I heard those words. Does that mean you'll separate me from Miss Hibari? Things might turn out that way. Besides, she's already 17. She's still a girl, but she might not need you one day. Uh-oh. The disdain. No matter how well you've taken care of her, that little bird might leave your cage when she learns what love is, you know. What will you do when that happens? Kasuga? Miss Hibari no longer needing me. I never thought about that before. And I would never think about it again. But he's like, nope, I'm gonna be her butler forever. I mean, in like a lot of stories, like, you know, you see like the butler is just like he just lives with the family forever. He's like, I mean, to like Kasuga's point, it's like almost like a devoted zealot, but because that will absolutely never happen. At the moment, I stared down the master as not just a mere butler. And I was sure he wasn't talking to a mere butler either. Wait, what do you mean mere butler? Are you saying that he's more than a mere butler? After we briefly exchanged glances, I nodded slowly. Understood. I shall take care of this matter as you wish. As I learned more about the suitor's true natures, it's quite clear to me that Miss Hibari is going to undergo a change. It's frustrating that the master chose them, and had the foresight to know this would happen. It was definitely accurate. These thoughts rolled around in my mind as I watched her close her eyes and drift off, her fatigue reaching its limits. So far, things had gone according to the master's plan. Every time she tried to hide something from me, she grew more distant, like she was trying to leave the nest. However, if you think this will go exactly as you expect, Master, you're sorely mistaken. Guys, this is like the villain perspective here. I still had an ace up my sleeve. The plan I'd prepared in case this happened. I have to make sure to determine the right moment. This absolutely cannot end in failure. We would soon arrive at the villa. I spent the rest of the car ride preoccupied with my thoughts and refining my plans. Alright, the apple of his eye cleared. Okay, what's Kasuga's plan here? Let's do one more chapter. It might be a little long, but... truth revealed. Taiga takes me to see grandfather. He tells me about missing memories and a certain someone's dark secrets. Okay, do we have like amnesia? Like, there was like an accident, right? When she was She was like 5? When did she go in the house? Alright, well, let's play this event. Alright, we're going down the amnesia route. It's like, I'm just like, man, I've been playing a lot of games where the character has amnesia here. Alright, let's play this event. The day after I slept over at Tsumugi's house, I went straight from her place to school. Not a single lecture stuck in my mind that day. I wish she ate. I've been like reading so many different stories, so like for some reason like age 5 keeps like popping up in my head. Anyway, after class, as Tsumugi and I said our goodbyes, she gave me a worried glance. Welcome back, Miss Hibari. And now we gotta be suspicious of Kasuga. And now Hibari's gonna be very reactive to Kasuga. I was finally face to face with Kasuga. The discussion we had during our girls' night flitted across my mind. Hibari, Kasuga has feelings for you that go beyond what's appropriate. Does he really? But... Miss Hibari... Kasuga spoke my name and I flinched, realizing I'd spaced out. Is something the matter? You don't seem your usual self today. It's nothing. Kasuga was too sharp. I knew he would notice something was off. Normally his gaze felt so reassuring and protective, but right now, it made things awkward. I thought something may have happened. If you'd like, I would gladly lend an ear, miss. I'm always here to listen to you. I told you! It's nothing! Nayata? Aha! I spy with my little eye. A Hibari! What are you doing here? He comes in like, as if he's like dry. Just like shoes. He just like skids across as if his shoes were tires. Boy, who would have guessed I'd meet you here of all places? I'm so lucky. My eyes widened in shock. Nayata, of all people, popped up out of nowhere. What? Nayata? What on earth are you doing here? I went out for a jog and I was like, oh hey, it's almost time for you to get out of school. So I come on by and wouldn't you know it, here you are. Oh. Nayata was standing there, a bright and innocent smile on his face. And he jogged all the way here from home? I blinked. That was no short jaunt. Oh. Anyway, I'm gonna head back and get everything ready to greet you. Wait. What? You can come with us in the car. Nah, that's okay. It's just a quick run. I'll be waiting for you back home. Are you saying that you're gonna be faster than the car? I mean, there might be a lot of traffic, but still. He was running. We were going back by car. Did he really think he would get there ahead of us? Actually, knowing Nayata, he probably would. There were so many things I could say, but I stayed quiet. Honestly, when it comes to Mr. Yagami... Kasuga's sighs snapped me back to reality. I quickly ducked into the car before he could turn his attention back to me. I'm not sure I fully understand what happened, but thank you for that distraction, Nayata. I feel like the story was just like, hey, we haven't seen Nayata in a while. Let's just like insert him here. That said, I can't keep this up forever. I would have to talk to him sooner or later. Kasuga? Yes. I opened my mouth and closed it again and dropped my eyes. Why can't I say anything? The question hovering at the back of my mind was too blunt to ask casually. Not only that, but as I was leaving class today... I understand you must be unsure about so many things right now. But given that we can't say for certain what Kasuga is thinking, it may be wisest to avoid saying or doing anything that might, overstimulate him. You mean overstimulate? I'm worried. Miss Hibari? Was everything quiet at home today? Indeed. It was an uneventful day. Oh, that's good. I couldn't think of anything else to say, so I simply fell silent and turned to look out the window. Miss. Thank you. In the end, I never did think of what to say to Kasuga. By the time he arrived home, I was thoroughly gloomy. I have to do something. Things can't stay this way. I racked my mind, heading towards the front door. But before I can manage 2 steps... Oh, okay. I thought it was gonna be Nayata, like, racing the car or something. Hey, babe, I've been waiting for you. Taiga popped out of the garage, swept up to me, and took me by the elbow. Huh? Taiga? What on earth? Eek! He promptly tucked me right back into the car and plopped in himself. Mr. Tsurugi, what are you? Time for a date, see ya! Before Kasuga could stop him, Taiga told the driver to start driving, and he just listened to you? Taiga, what in the world are you doing? If this is simply another one of your pranks, that kind of sucks. Like, you just commuted all the way back home, like, you're, like, tired from school, and, like, sit down, like, eat, I don't know, watch some cartoons, although I don't think Hibari's, like, watching cartoons, but you just want to relax, and we can get forced into a date. Let's pick up where we left off at the mansion. Taiga gonna give us more info. Taiga took me to a restaurant downtown. What did you mean pick up where we left off? Why bring me here? Patience, patience. Head on in. The guest of honor is waiting for you. Guest of honor? All of a sudden, I had a bad feeling about this. Taiga noticed my sour frown, but he just waved his hand dismissively, then pointed to the private rooms in the back. It looked like he didn't intend to accompany me. Okay, it's weird. The polite staff opened the room doors for me, and I stepped inside. Oh, fancy restaurant. Oh, it's Grandma. I'm gonna say, like, who are we meeting? And, like, this is clearly not a restaurant Taiga could afford. I've been waiting. Come and have a seat. Grandfather? I couldn't say I hadn't seen it coming. Okay, maybe Taiga's gonna help us patch our relationship with Grandfather, because he is good friends with Grandfather. Now, when I now understood how Taiga and Grandfather were connected. Yet, considering how we last parted, I couldn't help but be on the defensive. What is this all about? Taiga recounted the memory about me that he heard from you. Grandfather's normally stern expression relaxed into something almost abashed as he heaved a sigh. Sheesh, it's been decades since anyone dared lecture me like that. Taiga chewed me out something fierce, you know. He told me to stop being stubborn and have a proper talk with you. He actually lectured Grandfather? They must be close indeed. Taiga hadn't called Grandfather his buddy for no reason. Looking at his face now, I couldn't help but believe there was truth to Taiga's side of the story. Following Grandfather's gaze, I seated myself across from him. With everything set up for me so neatly, there was nothing for it but to ask all the questions I had. Is the story he told me true? Yes. Everything Taiga told you is the truth. Even knowing what he would say, I still couldn't help but swallow. After all, that meant... For more than a decade, I thought he was my enemy. But this entire time, he loved me? I had no choice but to accept that was all true. I mean, I guess, like, he was just kind of stern-faced outwardly, but, like, he was never, like, abusive to Hibari. Like, gave her everything, provided her everything. But yeah, it's just, like, terrible at communicating. To be blunt, I find it difficult to believe you care for me, especially after all this time. I can't say I'm surprised. I'm partly at fault for having mostly given up on any attempt to repair my relationship with you. I'm sorry. That's something that he probably, like, should have reconciled with her before this whole suitor debacle, but... The Iron Leader of the influential Tojo family, who had always been in complete control and detached from emotion, was bowing to me. It was, frankly, a stunning sight. I am starting to believe the inability to admit our true feelings run in the Tojo line. I mean, yeah, most of the all the routes are just like, it could have been solved with like a conversation, but it's just like so many words were just like left unsaid. Your father and I butted heads constantly as well. The result? He eloped. I thought I knew best and it backfired on me. I never once had issue making a proper business decision, but my decisions at home were one failure after another. And maybe if they talked it out, they could have... Obviously, like, Hibari's father, like, loved someone and probably wasn't willing to give up on her. I guess, like, under certain circumstances, like, grandfather could have, like, welcomed the bride into the family, even if she was, like, a so-and-so commoner. I mean, Taiga was a commoner, and, like, he got welcomed into the family. The other guys had, like, storied family histories, but, yeah, like, obviously, Takamune, like, is more than willing to, like, allow someone that Hibari loves, like, doesn't matter their background, into the family. As long as they're not, like, a criminal or something. even though their background checks make them seem like criminals. Because of that, I grew timid. I hesitated to interact with you honestly. I'm ashamed of myself. Stop, please. I couldn't say anything. All I could do was sit and listen, my hands balling into fists in my lap. Don't say things like that. Stay villainous. Keep being a hateful old coot and a shriveled vulture. Oh, now Hibari has to, like, change her way of thinking. Because if you aren't, then I've been an utter fool for years. Hibari, it's alright. You needn't force yourself to forgive me. We simply need to take it slow and learn to grow closer together after all the years we spent drifting apart. That's all. Besides, I asked for your presence today to tell you an even more important truth. What more important truth? Your parents are alive. Wait. Hey, wait a minute. But then they could be the Tojo family heir. Wait. Unless, like... Oh. What? I'm just like, what? Huh? Like, they could take over the family business? Like, Hibari doesn't need to go through all this, like, heartbreak? And what are they doing? Hiding from their daughter? My mind went blank. I couldn't muster the strength to ask if he was joking. Grandfather saw I was frozen in shock and nodded sagely. Slowly, solemnly, he began to talk. Your father turned up his nose at all the potential brides I presented to him, and instead eloped with the girl he was dating at the time. He vanished completely. The two eked out a quiet living in the home they kept. But one day, the two of them died in an unfortunate accident. The last gift they left behind was you. That is the story you've been told, correct? They faked their own death to get out of the responsibility. I nodded. Grandfather sighed again. The elopement, the birth of a child, the meager life. That was all true. But they hadn't vanished. I knew precisely where they were. My fool of a son kept in touch with his mother, your grandmother. He told her that they'd moved to England and had a child. Sheesh. It's a deplorable story, truly. I was unable to be there to celebrate the birth of not only my first grandchild, but my second as well. Wait. That means there's 2 kids? Second one? I couldn't help but blurt out the words. I was so shocked. Grandfather grimaced, then nodded. Yes, I have 2 grandchildren. One is you, Hibari. The other is named Tsubame. He's your elder brother. Wait, brother? I have an older brother? Hang on. Wait, wouldn't he be the Tojo family heir? He's the eldest son. Why did they take the girl? Why did they rip the girl away from her family? Indeed. My parents, who'd I long thought dead, were alive. Not only that, I also had an older brother? If I wasn't hearing this from grandfather himself, I would have laughed it off as a fantasy story. How amazing that you could just, like, fake your own death and just, like, hide the truth from, like, your own daughter. Like, she has this whole family, and they just, like, left her behind. Since you lost your memories of your early childhood, I'm sure you don't remember. From all that I heard, you and your brother were close. Very, very close. Worryingly so, even. For some reason, grandfather looked like he'd just bitten into an especially sour lemon. It didn't take long for me to realize why. Grandfather launched into a tale of what my brother was like, and it left me stunned. Where to begin? After heaving a sigh, grandfather took a moment to collect his words. His first grandchild, Tsubame. That's just Kasuga, isn't it? Like, that's Kasuga's hair. Wait a minute. Kasuga's the Tojo family heir. He's 19. He's the eldest son. What is he doing playing the butler? Okay. The child. My older brother was born in faraway England. He was a surprisingly easy child to raise. He grew up quickly and learned how to walk and talk much earlier than most infants. I suppose he was a prodigy of sort. A talented child who was destined to become a Nobel-winning scientist or a prominent politician or something similarly lofty. Meanwhile, he's playing butler. However, his parents couldn't be completely happy about his prodigious gifts. Being with him all day, every day, they quickly saw the multitude of ways in which he did not act like a normal child. His gaze was worryingly cold and calculating. He had a condescending attitude towards his parents. He was distant and aloof. He lacked any childlike charm. He sounds like some anime protagonist. Instead of feeling proud, his parents were at a loss about what to do with their stony, unsmiling child. Not much later. Okay, sorry. I thought like Grandpa was narrating, but I guess this is all Hibari's thoughts. Alright, not much later, I was born, and suddenly Tsubame had a little sister. Considering Tsubame's underdeveloped sense of empathy, my parents were understandably very worried about how he'd react to me. But to their surprise, when my mother brought me home from the hospital and Tsubame met me for the first time, the very first thing he said was, Tsubame Tojo, adorable. My little sister's the cutest baby in the whole world. My parents couldn't believe their ears. Tsubame, who had turned up his nose at every gift they had given him, was apathetic about everything life offered him, had, for the first time, expressed emotions. It seemed like a little sister was exactly what Tsubame needed in order for his emotions to finally develop properly. That's what my parents believed anyway. And then he became... okay, and then he became... he probably got like a weird sister complex, and why is he our butler now? But at first my parents happily stood by and watched as my brother played with me and helped with my care. But it wasn't long before Tsubame's affection morphed into a worrying sister complex. Okay, well, maybe that's why grandfather vehemently said to Kasuga that, like, you cannot marry Hibari. Like, it can't be you. There's no incest route. I don't know, some people might be disappointed, but by the time my parents realized there was a problem, it was too late. Aside from my nursing, he monopolized all care for me. Yeah, it would be hard for him to do the nursing. I'm going to be the one to take care of her. She says she wants me to, too. Wait, she's a baby. Don't think of butting in, Mom. Dad, I'll teach her everything she needs to know. He's like 2 years old. Right, Hibari. You like it best when I teach you things, don't you? My parents reprimanded him for being too possessive, but he nitpicked at their parenting in retaliation. You're her parents. You ought to provide a more appropriate environment for her. She's the most adorable girl on Earth, you know. She deserves to be treated like the world's most precious princess. See that you do so, immediately. Like, hold up. It's like, Tsubame. Like, your parents eloped. Like, aren't you guys, like, living as, like, commoners at this point? Tsubame was dead serious, too. That's what made it so frightening. If left alone, both Tsubame and my young self would grow up emotionally unhealthy, to put it mildly. Seriously disturbed, my parents decided to take action when I was 5 years old and Tsubame was 7. Okay, she was 5. Yes. Okay, so they fake their own deaths. Hibari will live with her father's old family. Though my father had ostensibly cut all ties with his birth family, he was still in touch with his mother and asked her for help, and she responded instantly. Keeping it a secret from Tsubame, they steadily got everything in order. Finally, all was in readiness, and the day arrived for me to leave. However, Tsubame was frighteningly sharp. He sniffed out their plan and attempted to take me and run away. You trying to kidnap her? At the tender age of 7. How dare you try to take her away from me? I'll never let that happen. I am the only one who can raise her properly. No one in the world can guide her as well as I can. I'm the only one who's fit to do this. But despite Tsubame being a prodigy, a 7-year-old can only get so far with such an ambitious undertaking. In the middle of the escape, I was apparently caught up in an accident. I sustained a hard blow to the back of my head, but fortunately, I was never in any danger of dying. But when I awoke, it became clear that the shock of the injury had caused me to lose my memories. My parents were, of course, absolutely livid. They declared that Tsubame's twisted love for me was detrimental and dangerous. Having made up their minds, my parents informed Tsubame that he would not be permitted to see me again until he repented his actions. And then now he's here. He's the butler now. Listening to grandfather tell the tale, bitterness plain on his face, I felt my own expression grow more and more numb. I wasn't sure what I ought to be surprised about anymore. Even learning that grandfather truly cared paled next to the bombshell about my parents being alive, and that the news that I had an abnormal older brother. I can feel the king of all headaches coming on. As I desperately tried to untangle everything I heard, I asked grandfather the first question that came to mind. And why tell me that mother and father died in an accident? There are multiple reasons. One is the obvious. To avoid the problems it would cause in regards to who is the true heir to the Tojo family. Okay, so just like taking the father out of the picture, like completely. But what about Tsubame? He's the true heir, right? He's the oldest son. Another stems from how you had no memories when you first came to us. Don't tell me you did it because you thought that if I heard my parents were dead, I'd be more obedient to you. I mean, yeah. I guess it's... kind of cruel. Because, like, it just isolated Hibari, like, even more. She wouldn't be, like, wondering where her parents were. Like, why can I see mommy and daddy, like, if they're, like, alive and well in England? Well, for your information, that idea came from your father, not me. He was the one who asked me to tell you he and your mother were dead. Oh my god. This whole family sucks. Father did. He may be my own son, but even I will admit he is an odd one. Don't ask. You'll only regret it. What kind of person is he? For grandfather to admit that much, it had to be really bad. Not just my brother, my father was abnormal too. If I heard my mother was somehow weird on top of all that, I had no idea if I'd recover from my shock. I mean, she probably is weird too, because, like, her own daughter is like, well, bye, I guess we'll never see you again. Then, where's my brother now? Is he still with mother and father in England? I'm sure he's much closer than you think he is, Hibari. If he was, then perhaps things would not have turned out nearly as twisted as they've become. Grandfather stared blankly into the distance. Then slowly, hesitantly, he began to talk about what happened to my brother. The sour look on his face conveyed how he felt about the conversation. For Tsubame, the fact that he allowed me to be hurt was a major personal failing. Is that face obscured? Who is he? Making like obvious silhouette here. I mean, it wasn't the first time we've been confused. It's like the whole like Ichiya like is Kazu thing. Like, but then they were actually twins. Who knows? Maybe we have another brother who looks just like Kasuga. If the trauma had been so bad he fell into a deep depression, that may have fostered a little sympathy. But no, not Tsubame. After being separated from me, he promptly immersed himself in studies of all kinds, learning everything he could about a multitude of subjects. Skipping grade after grade, he advanced through school so quickly, he got his bachelor's degree at the age of 11. Jeez. These darn talented 11-year-olds. Also, how hard would it be to, like, for an 11-year-old? Even, like, younger than that, because he got the bachelor's by the age of 11. It's like, would they even let, like, a minor into, like, a college campus like that? There. Now you have no complaints, correct? I have learned and grown. And now, I'm now fully qualified to raise her. I am going to Japan. She is waiting for me there. Don't try to stop me. You can't. Meanwhile, they're just like terrified of their 11-year-old son. Observing their son's triumphant smirk, my parents threw up their hands and gave up. If my brother was 11 then, I would have been about, what, 9 years old? That was when I was still entirely alone inside the Tojo mansion. Wait, when I was 9? No, it can't be. Right? I put the pieces together. Tsubame came to Japan and promptly visited the Tojo family mansion, but grandfather, who took what he'd heard very seriously, did not allow him to meet me. Far from intimidated, Tsubame fixed grandfather with a frosty glare. You say that I am a danger to her. Then what are you, who has allowed her to remain frightened and alone these many years? Who knows how he had uncovered everything, but Tsubame relayed my living situation at the Tojo mansion with terrifying accuracy. At 11 years old, he had a whole network of spies. Grandfather was unable to refute his accusation and gave Tsubame the opportunity to present a deal. Hibari is precious, correct? I understand that, grandfather. I understand that very well. She makes you want to do anything for her. I may be the eldest son, but you still want to make her your heir to the Tojo family, correct? Fine. I agree wholeheartedly. Oh, okay, he just, like, gives up his birthright. Well, grandfather, let me tell you something. My dream is to raise her to become an empress who rules over the Tojo fortunes. You want that too, right? Okay, calm down. Calm down, Tsubame. Like, she's like, she's heir to, like, a reputable family. She's not gonna be, like, taking over the world here. To see that come true, I will renounce my own name. We can't have a succession battle after all. I will erase Tsubame Tojo from existence for her. Grandfather stared, speechless, at the 11-year-old boy who proposed the audacious plan with measured coolness. Hibari needs me. You can't deny it. I can make her smile as easily as I can open a door. Okay, so hang on. Like, he gave up being the Tojo family heir. But, like, in instances where, like, being the Tojo family heir was, like, causing Hibari suffering, like, at any time he could have, like, come forward and be like, you know what, sis, I'll take care of it. But he didn't. If you want what's best for her, let me raise her. That's all I want. Wait, slow down! What? I haven't finished yet. But something's wrong with how this story is going. If my brother wanted to raise me, then he would be with me right now, but Don't you recall what I just said? Tsubame chose to hide his true identity, so that you could inherit the Tojo family with no issue. And don't tell me you can't think of anyone who's currently overzealous about looking after you. No, that can't be right. He proposed the idea himself. It was a plan that prevented inheritance issues and let him grasp what he wanted most. He told me from that day forward. It was actually me! The reveal that he would become Kasuga, your personal butler. It was a preposterous suggestion, becoming a butler just so he could nanny his sister. I refused him. But when he brought up how you had closed yourself off from the entire family, I didn't have much room to maneuver, so I gave him a chance. A chance to? I told him that if he could get you to open up to him inside 1 month, I would let him stay. At the time, you had walled yourself off from every servant I had assigned to you, and dwelled in complete solitude. I reckoned that, even though he was your brother, you wouldn't let him in so easily. But in a few days, he was in your good graces. It gave me a big headache. He's like, there's no way. And then he's like, Tsubame's like, bet. So you see, a butler is effectively the most steadfast and reliable ally a lady may have. I have no time to try and curry favor with you. I must constantly be making every effort to serve you. Well, Sis is just scared of lightning. Kasuga! The rest is as you know. Kasuga put every effort into raising you into his ideal lady, while subtly making certain you were codependent on him alone. If he could set me up as your enemy, then you would have no recourse but to rely on him even more. I suspect that was his plan. Our relationship is cold because of his manipulation. I mean, you didn't exactly try to, like... You didn't exactly try very hard to clear your image, but okay. What? Wait. My mind can hardly keep up with all this. Grandfather loved me. His harsh manner was the result of miscommunication. That alone was almost too much to process. Then I hear my parents, who I told had died, are actually alive, and I have a brother too? And I'm not supposed to be the Tojo family heir? Like, oh my god. Poor Hibari. Not only that, my brother's actually Kasuga? It was all so unbelievable. So hard to swallow. I just couldn't. Are you alright? Alright? How could I possibly be alright? My mind was spinning. I could barely breathe. Why? Why now? Why wait this long to tell me? I forced my quivering lips to form the words. Grandfather answered with quiet solemnity. Like I said to begin with, he is my grandchild, the same as you. I do want what's best for him, too. I want him to step forward and reclaim the position and the life he's entitled to. Hibari, for these last 8 years, you've been living in a tiny birdcage zealously guarded by Kasuga. When you became friends with Miss Tsumugi in middle school, I breathed a heartfelt sigh of relief. I knew she would broaden your world, at least a little. Now, living together with your suitors, I suspect your world has expanded even further. Your birdcage is on the verge of breaking open. Now is our only chance. Now that you have finally begun to open yourself up to people who are not him, now we can hope to return Kasuga to Tsubame. Stop! Stop confusing me! I couldn't take it anymore. I lurched up from the table and nearly ran to the door. Hibari! Tag is here. He's waiting outside. What's up, babe? Done talking already? I'm leaving. Now. Huh? But babe. I've had enough. It was too much. So many facts had been lobbed at me, one after another, without giving me a chance to digest any of it. And how was I supposed to take it? A curtain had been swept away from my life. The truths I'd firmly believed in for the past decade were completely false. Truths about grandfather, truths about my parents, truths about my brother. It's all a lie. Living with a family of liars. No, about Kasuga. And they expect me to think about my future now? You know, Hibari, doesn't have to be responsible for any of this. Kasuga could step up, become the heir, and just, let Hibari be a normal girl. I couldn't. It was impossible. My mind was refusing all orders to stop and think. All I felt was an instinctive urge I couldn't ignore. Get away. Far away. Now. My body refused all orders from my brain except for that one that screamed through every cell. Run. We running, alright? We're running from our problems now. Uh-oh. Okay. Wow. I wasn't expecting that. Kasuga being the actual Tojo heir. How is this gonna? Okay, so obviously no Kasuga route. At least not a romantic route. That would be weird. I guess I'm trying to think. I think there was one anime that was based off a dating sim. It was Yosoga no Sora. I think that had an incest ending. Although I think it was supposed to be a bad ending, not the canon ending. Okay, let's save. We need to chew through that. Chew through those revelations here. All right, and we've also been going for quite a while. Alrighty, so what's the next chapter? Kasuga's identity. Okay, yeah, Kasuga's really my brother. Alright, we're obviously gonna have to confront him about it. And geez, poor Hibari. Her life has been a lie up to this point. Alright, anywho. I hope you guys are having a fun and relaxing time. And I will see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.